After a wild and crazy week where everything seemed to be so intense and we were all worried about this and that and the other, and then our craziest dreams came true, at least for most of us. A few, I'm sure, are not so happy today. But if you're watching this, you're maybe tending to go along with some of my political shenanigans and feelings. Anyway, but I thought, let's relax. Let's just talk. Let's have a little conversation. I guess I'm calling today potpourri. There's serious stuff in here, and it's some stuff you want to know and stuff that I think will be valuable for you going forward. But it's not quite as like, okay, what's the price of Tesla going to be tomorrow or next week or et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, let's start with Rain's 1220. You know, I've really been enjoying some of his content, and he puts this up today. He says, can someone send me a video or a post of a critical disengagement, a critical disengagement with FSD 12.5.6.1? He wants it to be truly dangerous, a crash-like disengagement, not just a if X happened, it could have been dangerous type of preventative takeover based on a hypothetical scenario. I'm struggling to find any, he says. And this is something I've talked about for, I think, 6 or 7 months. It's like drive your FSD in a way that's like, okay, that's uncomfortable and might be a problem, but no, we're just a little too close to the curb. If 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 it's going to be a robocab, it has to be, sometimes it might do something a little close, but as long as it doesn't do an accident. Anyway, so that's an interesting one. If you happen to have that, Rains 1220 is his handle on X. Send him that video, but he's saying he's having a hard time getting anybody to send him a video that would actually be that bad. And he did a second post today on X where he was talking about the fact that he thinks FSD might have reached escape velocity. It might be really at the point where we're almost there. Anyway, then Elon said today that he is in favor of the President of the United States having a say at the Federal Reserve. You might remember that a few weeks ago, President Trump said that that's what he wanted, that he wanted to have a say at the Federal Reserve. And, people, it was obviously a lot of kickback when he said that. Some people were like, yeah, and other people were like, are you kidding me? No, it's supposed to be independent. So anyway, I agree that he should be able to have a say. I said that at the time, and I continue to believe that he should be able to have a say. The President of the United States should be able to maybe sit on the panel, have one vote or whatever. But they should take into consideration his wisdom, his knowledge, and stuff that they can't even have. They're not even sourcing stuff. He will know stuff that they just don't know. Anyway, personally, I think you get rid of the Federal Reserve. Maybe you have 6 or 7 really smart people sit on a panel. You don't need 300 economists or whatever it is. Maybe it's 3,000. Their budget is massive, what they're spending right now, and their numbers, their results, their prognostication capability is terrible. So no, get rid of it. That'd be an easy department for me. Get rid of it. That'd be, a big cut we can make right now. Anyway, Elon also participated in a call with Trump and Zelensky. I think that was yesterday. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that one. There's a massive amount of conversation today about what is Elon's role going to be, et cetera, et cetera. I really think it's going to be very straightforward. He is going to be the head of a commission. This commission might only have 3 people on it. I mean, it'd be him and 2 or 3 others. Maybe it'll be a Chamath. Maybe it'll be a David Sachs. But anyway, we'll see. I think it's going to be a very small commission that he will be the head of, and they will set some broad standards. By the way, though, Trump has come out with about 3 or 4 different little videos, short videos with lists of the things that he's going to do in just a few weeks and things that he wants Congress to do. And I'm not sure that he's even going to need Musk because it sounds to me like he's really got it. He's really got it nailed as to what he plans to do. I've been reading some reports on how heads of agencies and regular rank and file employees are dealing with the victory and the prospects of Elon cleaning house. They are very, very worried for the most part. Anyway, so I proposed this idea today on X, and people seem to like my idea. I would like to suggest, that Trump put out a notice to all government employees. If you are corrupt, just quit now and you'll be less likely to be criminally charged. Quit now. And just the fact that you quit and left, you know, it might take us much longer to get to you. I think we could possibly get rid of 100,000 or so overnight out of the 3 million. Don't you think? I mean, that would be small, right? 100,000. I think so. Just gone. They would leave. Anyway, I've also listened to another bunch of interviews the last 2 or 3 days, and people are actually seriously thinking about and debating whether Elon can cut $2 trillion from the budget. I think the total budget, I didn't look it up, but I want to say it's like seven. So we're talking about a really significant part, and a bunch of it's military, and a bunch of it is interest, and a bunch of it is Social Security, and a bunch of it is Medicare, and a bunch of it is welfare checks and stuff that it's really, really hard without some real serious congressional involvement. Well, at least some of these people, at least one of these interviews, and I think it may have been two, we're taking a very serious look at Social Security changing from being a Ponzi scheme to being some kind of an investment approach tied to the indices, which I 100% support. I supported it when George Bush mentioned it back in 2001. Maybe it was even before that. Anyway, I supported it then. I support it now. My Uncle Bill, who just passed away this last year at 94, was a top engineer at IBM. And when he retired, he went to work as a journalist at a local newspaper, just writing a column, I think once a week. And what is he writing on? He was writing on the fact that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme and it's going to go bankrupt. And of course, it is. And so why not, instead of putting the money in to pay for, if you're young, you're putting the money in now in order to pay my check. It makes no sense. You put the money in when you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You put the money in and it goes into an index fund. It goes into a massive fund that supports and builds companies in the United States. And it goes up like this because the S&P has never gone down. And then when you retire, there's tons of money in there. And you take out 3, 4, 5% a year, just like everybody else would. And no, there's nothing at the end. It continues to build for the entire country. It doesn't like go to your heirs or something. Now, maybe there's a much bigger check. I think the check right now that you get to bury somebody at the end is $250 or something like that. So that could be a little bigger. I've also listened, this is a combination of, this is from AJ, and he says, this is a good one. It's a little long, but please bear with me. I thought it was a good list. A combination of these reasons will drive Tesla's share price significantly above the prior all-time high of 412 whatever dollars a share in the near future. So lots of people now are joining I've been saying for how long? 700 by the end of next year. Now, Brian Wang is with me at $1,000 by the end of the year. You've got somebody else. CERN Basher came out today and said, yeah, $1,000, no big deal. It's worth $1,000 now. And he makes a very strong case for it, a very long case. If you want to look that up, maybe he'll be talking about this Thursday. Anyway, here's the list from AJ today. Number one, a refreshed Model Y from sometime the first half of 2025. We've been talking about that. Secondly, a Megapack factory in Shanghai starting any day now. Third, the Cybertruck will continue to ramp, lower price trim points, international deliveries, even including Europe and China, which we didn't expect in the first, and maybe even Japan, because they took it over there and paraded it around, and it would be the biggest car on the roads. Number four, next generation vehicles from the first half of 2025. Certainly looking forward to that. The Robotaxi in 2026, and then Cybercab for purchase in 2026. Actually, Robotaxi from 2025, in my opinion. Number six, Tesla owner ride-hailing launch. Oh, this is so the nomenclature does get a little confusing here. So ride-hailing starting in California and Texas in 2025. By the way, don't worry about the fact it's only 2 states. That is almost all the vehicles. I mean, we're talking about 1.5, I'm sure over 1.5 of the vehicles by next summer, 1.5 million vehicles in California and Texas. So if only 5% of those people put their cars up, you got 75,000 out there. That'd be a good place to start. The semi factory completed. in the first quarter of 2026. No, the factory will be completed like next week. Okay, the semi-factory will be completed soon. I mean, it's really close. I don't know why it's going to be till 2026 that they start ramping it. So I'm going to say that that's going to be one where it was under-promised and they will over-deliver. I think maybe we'll be looking at semis coming out of that factory second half, maybe sooner. I mean, it's almost done. Have you seen pictures of it on X? I mean, it's almost there. Number 9, an announcement of additional factories likely within the first half of 2025. I would certainly expect mega factories, maybe one or two or three, or bigger ones or something. I mean, why not? Just do it. And yes, maybe we'll be looking at another just a regular old gigafactory. We'll see what happens on that. Of course, the lithium plant will be starting up here maybe again any day. Should be very close, first quarter for sure. And then number 11, the Tesla Robovan in 2026. Number 12, meaningful Optimus deployments, end of 2025. I think you'll be seeing meaningful in the factory deployments in early 2025 and first customer trial programs. Yeah, maybe that'll happen in 2025, similar to what they did with Pepsi. I've been talking about that for a long time, and my choice was In-N-Out. McDonald's would be fine. Maybe Chick-fil-A. I mean, that's where you could try it and you'd have a lot of visibility. It'd be a lot of fun. I just think that'd be a great place to do it. Kind of like Pepsi was a good place to do it. All right, number 13, Tesla's global vehicle fleet will exceed 10 million vehicles in the first half of 2026, providing an unassailable lead in data collection. I think we've already got that unassailable lead. Don't tell AJ. Number 14, strong relationship between Elon and Jensen Huang. Elon was Jensen's first NVIDIA AI customer, and he provides well, there's lots of things providing extremely good access to NVIDIA. So I would list at least like 4. Number 1, Elon and Jensen are like two people, like they're the two people in the world that actually come close to being able to speak each other's language. There just isn't many people around that have the same kind of entrepreneurial spirit, the same kind of brain capability, that are also in the same space in terms of tech. So that'd be one reason. Number 2 would be that, he got the very first of these computers, but also that he's maybe the largest buyer right now of anybody. He's buying more of it than anybody else. Anyway, lots of reasons why they're going to hang out together, and it's going to be an important relationship going downstream. Number 15, Tesla's AI-trained computer Dojo Generation 2 in 2025, followed by Dojo Gen 3 in 2026, providing large-scale, ultra-large token processing specific to the autonomy problem for both the cars and, of course, Optimus. Number 16, from 2026, there'll be wider adoption of Tesla owners contributing vehicles to ride-hailing networks. So he thinks, if I'm right, and it's only like 5% in 2025, mid-2025, he thinks as the word gets out as to how easy it is and how much money people are making, and the fact that, people take a look around and they go, well, I only use the car for a few hours a week. Why wouldn't I put it out sometimes? So he's suggesting maybe more and more people will add their car to the fleet. Number 18, potential for Tesla to create virtual inference clusters with idle Tesla vehicles onboard inference computers. And Elon's been talking about that for a year. May happen. 19, under a friendly U.S. administration, potential for Tesla to achieve more meaningful U.S. vehicle penetration currently dominated by GM and Ford. So there's about 17 different ways. I think I listed them the other day, how Elon being good buddies with the President of the United States, like people are calling it a bromance. I mean, they are going to be close. And some people are going, well, how long will that last? Because, these two giants are not going to be able to stand in the same room together. They'll figure it out. Believe me, they'll figure it out. It's in both of their best interests to make this work. I mean, seriously, in both of their best interests. Number 20, an introduction of wireless charging, likely to drive larger EV adoption and accelerate a renewal cycle of existing EV owners together with a faster charging batteries. Number 21, SpaceX Aura. Under the new administration, we're likely to see significantly increased launch cadence. This creates a positive signal for Tesla from its deep connection with Elon. There are countless investors often raising the following point. Tesla CEO lands rockets. This SpaceX Nimbus bestowed upon Tesla via Elon should not be underestimated. Yeah, I wish there was more people paying attention just in general. It's so fascinating to watch these launches and to watch the 𝐒𝐭𝐮𝐧𝐝𝐚𝐲 catching. I mean, this should be something that, like in the 1950s, when most of you were not born, and I was watching, the initial space launches and Russia, in the big competition in the late 50s. This was fascinating, and the entire world was watching these launches. Of course, it's become, a little, oh well, it's just like an airplane taking off or whatever now. But man, this is big. Anyway, all of this will so various soft benefits from Elon's friendship with POTUS, like I said. This should significantly reduce Tesla's headwinds, and material lawfare will be dramatically reduced. Anyone with significant political ambitions will think twice before they pick a fight with Elon or Tesla. Well, how about those people that are hoping to keep their job? I think they will think twice before fighting with Elon or Tesla. Okay, so he finishes up by saying Tesla is primed to emerge as a defining company during the second half, I think it'd be the defining company of the second half of this decade, similar to Google in the late 2000s, Apple in the 2010s, and NVIDIA in the first half of this decade. Well, NVIDIA in the first half the last 2 years really is only when NVIDIA's come on stream. But you could say that of OpenAI. You could say that of a bunch of companies, even Microsoft, which seemed like it was just kind of stayed, and then all of a sudden, kaboom, it was a major player again. So lots of folks that have had that role over the last couple of years. But I do think that the Tesla situation will be multiples. I think you do too. I think you agree with me on that one. All right. So here is a succinct analysis of what I think just happened in the election. I suspect I'm not done with this essay, and I have truly enjoyed reading your responses to it. But also, as an aside, some have left X, and a few have left this program. They've unsubscribed. One fellow even said, I'm unsubscribing for a while due to my politics. Well, the top YouTubers in the Tesla space, like Stephen Mark Ryan, Farzad, Dylan, many others, are way more political than I am. They're just straight up political. So, like Musk, I'm not going to be shy. I'm going to let it all hang out. So anyway, here is my analysis. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this analysis. Number one, a huge number of Republicans are locked in on fundamentals of Constitution, equality, freedom of speech, low taxes, low regulations, gun ownership. I think it's maybe 90% of the base of the Republican Party. They're locked in. This is not something that they decide they could change next week, or it's just kind of a fluid thing. No, this is foundational to them. It's kind of like Christians. There's a Christian foundation that especially fundamentalist Christians, that the Baptists and the other fundamentalists. It's foundational to your life. Everything, all your decisions are made around it. And I think that's the way with 90% of Republicans. All your decisions are made around these fundamental understandings about the Constitution, about capitalism, about equality of all people, regardless of who they are. Anyway, I think that's misunderstood by most on the left and most of the chattering classes. They just don't get that this is not going to go away. That's foundational. All right, number two, many Democrats are center left, and they're only Democrats because of social issues. They're more right when it comes to economic issues. And when these Democrats started saying that with other Democrats started saying that men can get pregnant and that you needed tampons in the boys' bathrooms at high schools, well, that was just too much. That was just too much for them. That was a bridge too far. And they either they moved, or they said, well, I'm going to go over and join those other guys now. Or, like Elon said, maybe they stayed still and the left just moved away from them. Anyway, I think that they just couldn't get it on this whole business of censorship, the left's love of big pharma, their hating on men in general, and their racial nonsense. Number three, libertarians. These are things I think that people are a lot of people are not getting. That's why I made my own list. Number three, libertarians have been voting for their tiny party. It's been 2 or 3%. Sometimes it gets up, 5, 6, 12% in some elections. They get a really good candidate, or the other two candidates are not very good and they'll get more. But generally speaking, it's 2 or 3% of the electorate. I think that a ton of the ones that I know, people like Warren Redlick, have constantly been talking about, I can't be a Republican or a Democrat. It's just one party. It's a uniparty. There's no difference. Well, I think this time the Unitarians saw a big difference. MAGA is not the same. It's not the same as Republicans, not the same as Democrats. It is its own thing. And they went, no, this is a different deal, and I can get behind that. So I think we picked up a couple of percent. And 2%, it's all it really took. So you get 2% from something else, and you got maybe those people moving to the right, and you get 2% from the 2 to 3% from the libertarians. Well, you go from a 2% popular vote loss to a 2 to 3% popular vote win. There you go. Number 4, Peanut the squirrel was a metaphor that the Democrats did not get. But the Republicans and the independents, they got it. They felt it. It was visceral. It went to their heart. It was a really impactful. And the left doesn't get that. No, they don't understand it at all. Number 5, the Democrats have become ivory towerized, and they had no idea that people that are making under $100,000 a year are really hurting. If you're on this channel, if you're watching this channel all the time, we've been talking about the 2 economies for a very long time. And I know people, I bet you know people that make under $100,000 a year, and it's tough out there. Okay. And the Dems don't get it. They think because they're doing fine, because they have a professional salary and maybe their spouse does too, and they own their own home or maybe another home, maybe a vacation home too, and they have some stocks and some bonds and pensions, and all those things are doing really, really well, that everybody else is too. So they look at the economy that, probably the numbers are probably wrong anyway, but they look at the economic numbers and they look at the stock market and they go, the economy's doing great. Why in the world are people not wanting to vote Democratic? We did it. We did this great job. And they don't know. They don't get it. And they can't hear it when somebody tells them, no, there's a big piece of the country that it is not doing great. I hope that this Republican administration pays tons of attention to them and finds a way to lift them up. Which they did last time. Trump did last time. So let's see if we can do it again. Number 6, it doesn't matter how many times you say it, the vast majority of Republicans are not racist. They're not homophobes. They're not any of the other slurs that the left is sending their way. And if you believe that this is actually true of Republicans and you're not just trying to somehow win points or create, consternation, create rallying cries or something, well, if you actually believe that all those people out there, all your friends, all your neighbors, all the people you work with are actually racist or actually homophobic or xenophobic and all the things that you claim that the Republicans are, it's probably projection. Yeah, let that sink in. It's probably projection. What do you think? Do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe you are racist. Maybe you're a homophobe. Maybe you're a xenophobic. Maybe you hate women. I don't think so. I really don't believe so. But if you do, or if you think that there's a lot of Republicans that do, let me know. Tell me about circumstances and situations where you've seen this in action. Number 7, Republicans have been saying for at least 20 years that the mainstream media is rotten to the core, totally leftist, that there's no balance, and that this election absolutely proved it. There's no recovering. And that seems to be a general consensus out there by everybody but them. I mean, even people on the left are going, oh my gosh, this is going to be a change election where the mainstream media, people just don't believe them anymore. They just lied, and they just lied straight out. People were talking about Obama, how he lied. And they're like, what? Obama lied? Of course Obama lies. But he lied so blatantly that it really crushed a lot of people who really still liked Obama. And Biden, they had these same lies that they kept saying over and over again, and everybody knew they were lies. It was not good. Trump is called a liar. Most of his lies are hyperbole, Most of his lies are just a method that he uses to hyperbolize. I mean, even Jesus did that, right? He said, hate your mother and father. He didn't actually mean to hate your mother and father. He meant hate your mother and father compared to him. It's hyperbole. It's a way, it's a method of getting a point across in a way that's is very dynamic and makes you go, oh, what did he just say? Anyway, the mainstream media is dead, buried, it's over. And the pollsters, it's going to be the independents, Rasmussen, Atlas, those are the ones that got it right. And the ones that are paid for, the ones that, did you hear me? The ones that are paid for by the mainstream media, that's where they get their money. That's how they're paid. That's how they're in business, is they get their money by selling the polls to NBC, CBS, CNBC, etc. That's where they get their money. They were all the ones that were off. Do you think they're influenced by the source of their revenue? Anyway, last, people of color are done with sanctimony. They're done with pity. They're done with dishonest empathy. They are done with the Democrats thinking that they are less than them. They're done with liberal white people thinking that somehow people of color are less than they are and that they need to be propped up, that they need some help from these sanctimonious, horrible people. Anyway, I think they're done with that. I think they're not less. I certainly know that. I've been in these communities my entire life. I lived in a black community. My second wife was half Mexican. I can tell you right now that they don't need your sad efforts to help. They just don't need your sad efforts. And it's time that we dropped all this identity nonsense. Anyway, that's what I think happened last week. What do you think happened last week? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested about what you think about that list. I'm interested in what you think about AJ's list. I'm interested in what you think about what Trump is doing right now and what Musk is doing. I think they've hit the ground running at like warp speed, and things are just it's going to be messy. And I think the first year, there's going to be a lot of messes and there's going to be a lot of clapback, but it's going to be I think probably be fun. And then, of course, with Elon in the next 12, 14 months, it will be a time to remember. It'll be time that you'll be talking to your great grandchildren about. All right. I think that's all I have. You could like this if you happen to like it. You can subscribe. You could hit notify. We have the normal Sunday programming tomorrow, just 2 shows, one in the morning and then regular Monday morning on Sunday night. And then, is it time for you to get one of those? It's I started about this time last year selling them, and I said to you, gentlemen, because you're almost 95% of you are men out there, when you shop, you normally shop like, just 2 days before Christmas. So this would be a time you can take care of maybe 2, 3, 4 gifts. Your grandchildren, your teenage grandboys, maybe even the girls. These they love the Cybertruck. This would be an item that you could maybe contemplate for them. You could be talking about, all the different places that people can use these. A lot of people for whom this would be a perfect gift. Prices are down below. $25 is where they start, but it quickly goes to 20 bucks. And for those of you who have your own business or who are involved in promoting a business, what a great way to promote it. You can color this any way you want. You only have to buy 5, and you can put any kind of art on there that you want to. 4 color, 5 color, 10 color. I don't care. Any kind of art, doesn't matter. You can do it all. So look down below. It's time to start thinking about this. Start making it happen. There's the directions also for how to send the money by PayPal over to me if you decide to buy. All right, that's all I got for you. It's been great, as always, talking to you. Can't find the button.